We're going to be doing some creating for our November library visit, but I wanted to refer back to last month when we talked about how it's so important that you guys are doing the right thing when you're working online, that you're doing what you can to make a positive impact in your digital footprint and not a negative one. I was at a class just 2 weeks ago, and the gentleman who was standing up in front of the group, he was from a company called Adobe. Now, Adobe creates all different sorts of digital products that they use around the world, and we use them here in Jeffco too. But he said, 10 years ago that folks would submit a resume electronically, and then they would call people in, and then if they decided they wanted to offer a job to that person, they'd call the person's references and go from there. He said today it doesn't work like that. How it works is the person or people, they submit their resumes and evidence of their work just so Adobe can see if they do have the qualifications that Adobe wants. If they do, then they call those folks in for an interview. If they decide that they want to move forward with a candidate to find out more about them, they said, and I quote, they Google the person. And I'm bringing that up because when we talked last month about how important it is to make sure that your digital footprint is a positive one, I was at a class and there's a man standing in front of us who has nothing to do with education telling us that that is already happening. So if you have not already had a chance to make sure that your digital footprint is off to a good start in a positive way, please make sure that you do some thinking about what you can do to make better choices. You guys have had digital footprints probably since you were born. My guess is your family's published your pictures in a social media platform for families all over the place to see. So please just make sure that you're making positive choices when you are working online. Go ahead and do some creating today because one of the things Adobe said is that we need to move folks from consumers of technology to creators. And so you guys are going to get a chance to create today. What you're going to create is a book cover, and that book cover should be designed to reflect what it was like to learn during the pandemic. Now, if you think about your time when schools were closed and you had to make appointments to go to the grocery store, and you had to wear masks if you were going to interact with friends or family. You maybe even had to cancel plans with family because we couldn't get together. When you think about that time period, my guess is that a variety of things come to mind, like learning how to do school through video conferencing, with people turning on and off their microphones, with people turning on and off their cameras, with dogs barking in the background, with folks who had families who were working. And so they, as older students, were charged with taking care of younger students. It was kind of a crazy time. So if you think about life during the pandemic, you're going to create a book cover that reflects what it was like to learn during that time. Now, we know book covers always have titles. They always have some sort of image or graphic that relates to the title, and they always have the author's last name or first and last name. Now, you are going to be the author of this imaginary book title, this book cover. And so in the end, not only will a title be on there and an image, but you'll also have your name because you are going to be the author. So I'm going to show you an example. This is the example that I made during my training session when I was working with Adobe. I am particularly proud of the title. I like how it turned out with the font choice and the coloring. I do have the name of the author. That's me. I've got a picture that kind of relates to what it was kind of like working from our bedrooms and trying to do schoolwork. Something I would like to change would be the room. I don't know many young men that would have a pink room, so I'd probably change that. I'd probably include somehow a computer or piece of technology in the background so that they know that the student is not just working at home on homework, that there's some online learning, but I would also get rid of all that white space at the top. Okay. Now, when I look at this next one, I notice that the text is harder to read. So something I would definitely fix would be to make the text either larger or larger and a darker color. I can barely read the author's name. I might even consider taking the background and fading it out a little bit. But down at the bottom, what they have down there is called a subtitle. And if this were my creation, one of the changes I would make would be to move that subtitle up toward the top with the title, and then maybe put the author's last name at the bottom. Because I think the title and subtitle are too disconnected right now. So you can kind of see what we're going for here. We're going for contrast. We're looking for creativity. We're wanting to make sure that there's a connection between the cover you design and the idea that we were all learning from home during the pandemic, and people were having to be video streamed in, and bandwidth wasn't very good. So sometimes your camera would connect and other times it wouldn't. Sound was not always the best. You had siblings that were running around. You had animals that were jumping on your lap, vying for attention. We just had a lot going on. So today, you guys are going to be creating your own book cover. And when I look at the creation of your own book cover, you need to do a little bit of brainstorming, like what might be a good title. So you might come up with some titles that you think would be catchy or silly, something that connects to learning during a pandemic. When you've got your ideas, you're going to pick one of those ideas, and then you're going to click on where it says Adobe Express. When you click Adobe Express, it's going to bring you into Adobe. And Adobe is a tool that is provided by Jeffco. If it asks you to log in, you are going to log in with your Google account. But once you are here, you're going to go to where it says Document, and then you're going to go over to where it says Cover Page. So here's a cover page here. And I like to start with a template only because starting from scratch gives you a blank white canvas. So we're going to go ahead and click on where we say Browse Templates. And it's going to bring up paper. And then over here on the left, there's a bunch of different templates. It doesn't matter what kind of template you choose because the template you choose is completely customizable. And that's what you're going to work on today is make the cover, the book cover, using these templates. Make them so that they fit you, so that they fit your topic, so that they fit what your title is going to be. Okay? So please, that's what you're going to work on now. All you have to do is find a template that you like. And once you find a template that you like, you just start creating and changing it to fit your title, to fit your thinking, to fit your creativity. Have fun, enjoy producing something of your very own. And then before you leave, we're going to upload them so we can see each other's. And once you find a template that you like, you just start creating and changing it to fit your title, to fit your thinking, to fit your creativity. Have fun, enjoy producing something of your very own. And then before you leave, we're going to upload them so we can see each other's.